What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award winning The Dr. Vibe Show. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Also, know that I'm a certified empowerment coach and president of Express Your Vibe Coaching and Communications. And as always, excited to have friends come on, especially new friends come on, because this is the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And we have another new friend
What
on.
is up, everybody? It's
Um,
Dr. Hyde
you may
here.
want to turn off your thing in the background there. Thank you.
Hmm.
And it's our new friend is LaMarcus J. Hall. He's a master of education, has a master's of education, and is the assistant director of student life and development at Ivy Tech Community College. He also teaches first year experience courses. He manages over 40 student organizations, intramural sports, as well as recreation and wellness initiatives. He enjoys working with students from all areas of life while providing effective programming. He received his Bachelor's of Science and Master of Education from Georgia Southern University. He is also the author of I Refuse to Let You Give Up to My Teens Who Feel All Hope Is Gone. He has recently co authored an article with Amy Anderson in Diverse Education titled All Campuses Need Cultural Spaces. He also is a PhD student at Purdue University in the curriculum and instruction program. His research focuses on perceptions of men and women of color faculty in the academy at predominantly white institutions, PWIs. Hadn't heard that acronym in a while, so it's good to hear that again. He's a two-time recipient of the Holmes Scholarship. He was appointed to the Social Justice and Diversity Committee for the Purdue College of Education. He has was featured in the April 2016 launch, the newsletter of the Purdue College of Education, for his outstanding leadership, research, and contributions to the college. We could go on forever, but he only has certain amount of time. He is happily married to wonderful Alexandra, and he's the father of Leah and Ansley. So we're going to have Mr. Hall share a little bit about himself and about a great article that he's written called The Black Male Blueprint of Educational Advancement. So welcome to the Dr. Vibe Show, Mr. LaMarcus J. Hall. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, sir. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show today. First and foremost, before I go into the article, I cannot take full credit. I co-authored that article with a great friend of mine, colleague, and also attorney brother, Mr. Ron Clark. So we co-authored that piece together, and we looked at two different aspects of education and all the different current evolutions or current cycles that are turning right now from public schools to higher education, particularly with the whole new presidency going on at this current time. But a
Excellent.
small
Yep.
small thing about me, I have been in higher education about 10 years. Um, I've served as a home scholar for 2 years. I'm now a UCEA scholar under the so I'm a Barbara Jackson Scholar under UCEA. My research looks at lack of black male faculty in the academy. What can we do to increase more males to teach at the predominantly white institutions? But I do have a strong passion for serving the community and also uplifting minorities and helping them um, be culturally conscious and also get them involved in the community and provide them leadership and teaching on the college campuses.
Excellent. Like to know a few more things about your background before we get to the main piece that we're going to discuss today. Where did or who did instill the importance of education in your life? Because you are very well educated, and it sounds like the education hasn't stopped. But where did that drive come from? Was it something in you, or was there an environment with you, around you, when you were growing up, pushing the importance of education?
I would say it was a combination of various things. So one, I would say my grandmother and grandfather, they pushed me to do well in school. My mother, of course, pushed me to do well, and then also getting involved in the high school and college level, and seeing other African American males being a light in the community and having such a high stature in higher education really inspired me to continue. Originally, I was just going to school to get my bachelor's in child and family development. I met my dean of students, Dr. George Lewis, and he instilled a lot of principles in me. He was like, "Well, I think you need to work on the college campus too because you have that impact to work with multiple students from different various cultures and ages." and that's when I stepped out and immediately went and got my master's in higher education from Georgia Southern University. So I've had, I would say, a complete mixture or different layers of contributions that have helped me to move forward in education.
What was your experience as a young black man in the educational environment?
Okay, so I mean, I wasn't the top student. Let's put that out there. I want to make sure I blast that out to every person listening, every child, every kid sitting in the youth department of the church. I was not the highest selling student by any means. I never took AP courses. I always had struggles. My struggle in K through 12 was math. So to an extent that held me back from being in honor classes. But on the flip side, if you look at today, the 21st century education in the K through 12, I was not put in the popular crowd. So I was more so looked at as like, okay, well, he's the nerd. He's the one who respects his elders. He's the one who goes to church or what have you. That being said, my friends were few because only few of us had these same goals and ambitions.
Excellent. So when did that turn happen? Because you could have been put in a certain environment, but you weren't. Do you know the reason why you were? What, I guess, for lack of a better term, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way at all. Where did you get your nerdiness from in order to get you where you are today?
I mean, my thing was I wasn't going to let my circumstances or my background define who I was. Dr. Donna Ford at Vanderbilt says it best. She says that your area code does not define your intellect. So my thing was whatever I needed to do or what places and whatever opportunities I need to take advantage of to reach my goals, I was going to do that. But going back to your term of being a nerd, I enjoy it. That's something that I don't mind portraying to our young African American males because they need to see there are different, I would say, different levels or different categories of black men, and a lot of times they don't get to see the scholastic black men or high achieving black men in the community. So I own that image, and I don't mind expressing that to anyone.
Right. Both of you and your co-writer in this article refer to a great book, The Invisible Man by Richard Wright.
Mm-hmm.
What impact did that book have on you when you read it or referred to it for this article?
That more so, I would say that more so book was a reflection of Mr. Ron Clark. I have read other books that I did not state in the article. So some books that have really have been a direct reflection to me will be Dr. Lisa Lepik's Multiplications for White People. You have Pedro Nagur, Trouble for Black Boys, and then you also have The Black Male from Kindergarten to PhD by Dr. Sean Harper and Dr. J.L. Wood. Those have been three significant books that have caused me to look deeper into the whole K through 12 system and see what's going on with our black males in the community and just education in general. Like, I mean, you can even take that back to um, the lack of teaching of culture in K through 12 to the politically backed textbooks, which directly affects how we view ourselves in the community and how we view our culture. So I think there's a lot of different devices and systems that are within public education that are subliminal, and we just all of a sudden believe that what teachers are teaching in the classroom or whatever book that the committee votes on is right for our child. When I also feel that parents should be more involved in the curriculum planning. I mean, we're grown at this point. You're an adult. You have a child for the most part. So the worst thing they could tell you is no. I think we need to get more involved in the curriculum so that we can know that how our children are going to be affected now and how they're going to be affected 10 to 15 years from now.
Excellent. In the article itself, both of you make a statement saying that black males are forced to relearn their identity while making efforts to matriculate through college.
Absolutely. You can see that very well at a predominantly white institution. Number one, you're a black male. Number two, at most predominantly white institutions, you don't have a lot of people to relate to. So if I reflect back from my undergrad studies to now as a doctoral student, I can tell you I saw less than 15 to 20 black men at a professorate level or director level. So when you don't have those outlets or you don't have that one that you can connect to, your chances of identifying yourself are very low. And sometimes many men, we feel that at predominantly white institutions or any forms of culture, we have to almost reinvent ourselves to fit the mold or to fit the culture. I would say that's a bad mistake, but you can easily get caught into that trap because you have no one to identify with. In some campuses, you may not feel that there's not enough programming that celebrates your program or that celebrates who you are, and indirectly you end up falling into the mode of not being comfortable with yourself and not living out to your potential as an African American male.
Has that situation changed? Has it stayed the same, gotten better, or gotten worse since the time that you were a younger person in the K to 12 system?
I would say it's changed a little bit. I think that's from exposure, and also seeking the research. One thing about being a doctoral student is when you put yourself out there to be used on a research level or present publications, what have you, you get exposed to different arenas. So then you will find those connections or brothers just like you who are kicking out the research or have similar interests. From undergrad studies, I think when you're trying to find yourself and you don't see a lot of African American males or minorities of color in high position, it can be very confusing. You have a lot of teachers, they may have this be great, be a awesome citizen. We could take that back to right as a plateau. But then for African American male, what does that mean? What does it mean to be African American male when every day you look on different news stations, you see, you know, your people being killed every other day, or we can take it further to walking in having a random conversation and somebody comes up to you and asks, well, did you watch VH1 last night? As if in them bringing that up in conversation is a way to try to relate to you when you may not even be interested in VH1. So I feel there's a lot of different things that black males go through that we have to continuously fight. Not necessarily saying from a violent standpoint, but more so navigate through a lot of different spaces. And one key thing is microaggressions.
And you're reading my mind because I wanted to have you expand on the whole area of microaggressions in the education system when it's in towards to black or African American men. Can you expand a little bit on that area for our audience?
Sure. So when I say microaggressions, I could start from the different stairs. I could go to how you're viewed, how you are given random conversations and people trying to connect to you. The assumptions by what you have on defines your intellect and where you're from. I personally hate the term urban. You hear that used with a lot of African American males. People may say, well, he's from an urban environment or he's from that urban neighborhood. What is urban? If you look at the definition of urban, it says from a hip hop origin. But everything that's African American does not come from a hip hop origin. So the term disturbs me because, you know, I feel there's yet to be a term that equally defines who we are and where we are now in today's society.
So you don't like the term urban being used. What would a term or a reference that would make you pleased be better than urban being used?
I mean, African American male or black male at this point would be what would suffice more than saying that urban child or that child from the inner city. When you hear those terms, nothing uh, nothing with those terms has anything positives. When you hear the term urban or inner city, you don't think nice resources, nice community centers. You don't think resources in the community for families. You don't think high educated citizens. It automatically ties to negative things: low resources, low education, only public school available, um, low education in the homes. So until we make that transition I think African American males or black males rather suffice for now.
One
But
of the
then
oh,
the counter to that
sorry.
is for those African American brothers who are making positive changes and being in the community, a lot of times they're labeled as acting white. Then my question becomes, well, what is acting white? Are you acting white because you have standards? Are you acting white because you choose not to fit into the hip hop stereotype? What is that? I've heard in several conversations before, and anytime I ask what is acting white, no one can never pinpoint is that definition, but they automatically make the assumption.
I know you may not have mentioned this too much in the article, but I'd like to hear your perspectives on the lack of African American male teachers or educators. And it's interesting because I'm based here in Toronto, Canada, and actually my father was an educator in the same public school for 32 years. And to truth be told, I actually applied for teachers college a few times and never got in. And back then, when I had hair, people told me there's such a need for black men as educators, but I still hear the same thing today.
Okay, I think it's almost like a double edged sword type situation. Yes, we can say we need more African American males teaching. We could say yes, we need more men and women of color teaching. But my thing is this: once we get them in that system of teaching, what are we going to do to retain them? No one talks about retaining them. No one talks about bringing that professor to Toronto, Canada, who has nothing to culturally connect to, no barbershops, no restaurants that are authentic that he or she may like. No one speaks to that. They just think, well, we're going to just bring all these men and women of color to this campus, and that should be enough. We should hit the status quo. We are doing what we should do, or even take it further on college campuses. Well, let's build this multicultural student center so that we can provide the needs for all students of color. I think more emphasis needs to be put on once we get those teachers there. What are we going to do to sustain them?
You also mentioned, both you in the article, about the whole area of institutional racism.
Yes.
Could you expand a little bit on that for our audience?
Okay. Institutional racism, when you feel that you have nothing to connect to, when you feel that the only time um, you feel like you're on billboards or you feel that you're being publicized as this great scholar, but you're walking around on campus and you have nothing to connect to, when you feel you don't have any support from your services on campuses, and you see other persons getting the services and things they need. I think those are all different forms of institutional racism. And through my research, a lot of faculty have felt the institutional racism where they weren't getting the necessarily training or necessarily research or the ample time to publish or the ample time to mentor students and have flexibility to meet the publications to make tenure. So the institutional racism term is a very layered topic, and we could go on for hours about what institutional racism is. But for clarity, I don't want anybody to feel that all of my issues are with only just black males or just blacks. Period. I mean, there are multiple issues that we need to change within the educational system from pre-K to higher education and beyond to make sure that education is equal for all people. To
Uh,
make sure that women are not questioned about their family to gain tenure. To make sure that people are not judged by how they look and determine, well, based on how they look or what clothes they have on, that determines the person's intellect.
are the challenges for African American males different? African American males in the education system, are they different in the K to 12 area versus the college area, or are they the same?
I would say they're different. If you check out the book, The Black Male Success, the Black Male from Pre-K to PhD. I really want to pull the book out so that I can give you the proper title because I don't want to misquote or mistitle or not give credit to these great authors, Dr. Sean Harper and Dr. J.L. Wood. It will show you that by age 3, that stakeholders sit back and watch to see how many children of color are not reading sufficient or not understanding cognitively their terms and curriculum in the school, and by looking at their report when they don't pass state tests, that determines how many prison systems and probation offices that they need to um, build going forward to house future inmates. Going to a college level, I think some of the struggles are different. So you're more so a college student trying to find yourself. You're writing research. You're forced to write into what people call sometimes a white space. That being said, you're only writing to researchers and scholars. So you have to, it's almost like you're diluting the authenticity of your work to get your work out to other scholarly writers and researchers.
Okay. So when a American male graduates from college, some people may say survives the education system, how, in your opinion, how prepared are they to deal with the greater society?
I can't really pinpoint because that would be a case by case. I mean,
Right,
because like every black male is different.
right.
So every black male has different exposure. Every child has different upbringing. So according to your upbringing and your resource and what you know, that's going to determine how you're going to be able to navigate against various systems and various forms within your arena.
You
So
also go ahead.
for me, my struggle may be, hey, I feel that I am not feeling adequate because I'm not getting the proper tools and research at my job. For another, it could be um, every time there's an issue in the community and it's not from a Caucasian standpoint, they always bring it to me and they feel that I'm the answer.
Right. You make an assumption here in the article, both of you, that black males are treated in the education system as second class citizens. Why do you feel that?
Could you repeat that, please?
I'm just saying that there's a line here in the article, why must black males settle for the treatment of second class citizens when they are citizens in general? Why do you feel that black males are treated as second class citizens in the education system?
In many cases, they always have to work harder. They have to conform a lot of their ideas. They have to dress a different way to compete with the race majority. So my question is, so that would be, yes, they're not treated as equal as other people in a lot of cases. We can go to looking at employment. We can look at the education system. We can even take that to grad school. I've had several conversations with other doctoral students, and they will tell you that when it came to their counterparts in the classroom, they always had to work hard. Their APA style sixth edition had to be even more tight or even more crisp than other people in the classroom. So if you don't feel that you're just as qualified as the other person, even though you have the same credentials, you may end up feeling that you're second class or beneath the other person around you.
As we're winding up the conversation here, with the as the article closes, you have some recommendations to aid students on college campuses, and I want to just go through each one of them and have you give a vision on what that looks like. So the first recommendation for black men or African American men on college campuses is take advantage of first year experience programs. What does that look like? What would that look like in your mind?
Navigate the campus. Know who your support team is. Know who's for you. Look up every different external sources. Go to the workshops. Find out where's tutoring. Find out where's different workshops to help you build and become a better person. Get involved in programming. Expose yourself to different cultures. Expose yourself to different religions to help break some of those stereotypes you may have realized that you've gone through in your upbringing. That's why I stress the first year program because it will expose you to a lot of different terms and it'll also help you to find who you are and where you fit on the college campus regarding programming, student activities, organizations, and ways to get involved on campus. I think that plays a major role in a person developing, and we can trace that back to Aston's theory of involvement. The more a student is involved academically and socially on campus, the better off the student will be with their matriculation through their studies.
Next recommendation you have is ask for mentoring programs that have helped students succeed on campus.
And when I say ask for mentoring programs, that could be from like your first year experience where they pair you up in different learning communities. If you have a minority advisement office on campus, for example, I was at the minority advisement program at Georgia Southern. I was in that program as a freshman. My sophomore year to completing my master's degree, I was a minority advisement program counselor. So each year I was given a caseload of first year students on campus, and I was pretty much like their ambassador, and I was also served as their support. So when they needed to know where services and things were, when they were feeling overwhelmed, when they were trying to decide, am I partying too much? I was that person who could step in and try to help them make a good rationale of their decisions, as opposed to going through these experiences by yourself.
Okay. Next suggestion, a recommendation: encourage students to find mentors who are faculty members or upperclassmen.
Absolutely, that is, I cannot stress how important that is. If you can find upper class students who know the campus, so they know the culture, they know the ins and outs. And if you can connect with some of those students, it will help your navigation process go will run more smoothly because they know the different system. Every campus is different. Every campus has different struggling. And 9 times out of 10, if you connect with a student who's a second year, third year on the campus, they know some of the ins and outs on that campus. That will help you find clarity and try to figure out why things are so.
And then finally, if the issues are not addressed, schedule an appointment with the dean of students for further direction.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you're paying tuition, and your tuition, um, I'm not gonna say mandates, but it pays the long salaries and six-figure luxuries and trips and all the different trinkets of your deans and students and above. So why not go ask them and seek services for the things that you need clarity on? I find that a lot of students don't realize the support team and people that are there in place to help them until they're in trouble. You should just go to your dean of students when you get in trouble. You should know your dean of students when you first come on campus. But if we're not taught that, and we see what everyone, and we just fall into the trap what everyone is doing, the typical student wouldn't only go to their dean of students until when they get in trouble or face some type of dilemma.
Okay. So, a few quick things before we let you go, because I know you always got things going on in your positive, productive schedule, plus you got a family. Uh, what has been the response to this article?
Well, we received several responses. Several of my colleagues have, told us great job on it. Other people have shared it with other colleges, other faculty and staff members. So it's buzzing at this point. And again, I do my work not to boast. I do my work to bring change. And I realize that with working on the PhD, the work that I do is bigger than myself. I want to bring change along my journey and not just be a person who gets a PhD and they make a deposit and my book collects dust in the library.
Okay, good stuff. Would be uh, not a good conversationalist if I didn't ask you to give your thoughts on the current political climate in America in regards to
Mhm.
this subject. You do mention it like in the last sentence or near the end of it, but I would like to get your thoughts a little bit more on how important or how do you think this issue is going to be addressed by the current administration, if at all?
I would say this to one, I'll go from a nonpartisan approach because I think we need to look at it from a holistic approach. Like we don't need to look at it from a political standpoint at this time. Um, our education system is pretty much in the air, from K through 12, kindergarten to higher education. Where's the funding going to come from? I saw a clip yesterday where they were taking funding from, the Special Olympics. They were taking funding from Trio. They're taking funding from a lot of different things that help low income families jump over that hurdle and become great. I come from a single parent home. I come from Trio program. I come from ETS programs. Those programs helped me become who I am today. I don't mind letting people know I'm a product of Head Start. Now, I'm not just saying cater all of our funding and needs to only one particular socioeconomic status, but I think that This is a time where we need to step outside of our comfort zone and advocate for funding so that all kids of every color and race can be educated. And if we can strengthen that educational tie, we can be a better impact in our communities.
And finally, what is your message to Black America when it comes to this subject?
Now is not a time to be, now is probably the best time in our lives, other than the civil rights movement, to step out and start speaking up for what we need. Because if we miss this point of action where things are opening on the floor, who knows if it may ever come up again. So there's never not an imperfect time where you can step out and start being involved. Go to your local community centers. I even take it even further. Stop thinking about yourself and think about the kid next door. If we had the kid next door approach, imagine how many future lawyers and doctors and philanthropists and leaders in the White House we could have if we stop thinking about just my child, my family, my check, my car, my legacy. I think we need to go back to some of our ancestral roots and bring back the village raising mentality so that we can help all children. No parent is perfect. No child is perfect. But I think the more support we have, the better off our children and our future leaders will be.
Do you think at all that Black America has any, how can I say, is to blame for any of this situation?
That's a tough one, Doc.
Hey, well, that's why I'm here. I don't want I can't let you just glide through. Come on now.
I would say at this point, I really can't point a finger on who's the weaker vessel, so to say. But I mean, I can we can look at history and we know where we have been oppressed and where we have not reached certain levels. I think now a lot of opportunities are there. We need to take advantage of it. And if we have more opportunities now than our ancestors had being shipped here. So if we don't take advantage now and start stepping up for the next generation, there will be nothing better. If you go back to the last episode of Black in America, the second season, they brought in all the civil rights leaders at the time. Late Dr. Maya Angelou was living, and the person at the table said, "Well, if our civil rights leaders die, who will fight for us?" And they determined the answer was no one. So, and she recently passed. So, I mean, some of our civil rights leaders and ambassadors are leaving this world. Now it's time for the young generation to pick up that torch and help lead the way. You don't have to have a PhD to lead. You don't have to have a bishop robe on with 4 bars on your arm to go be an impact in somebody's community. You don't have to have a distinguished job or be invited to a black coat event to bring change in your local community. There's always room to help.
Do you see the energy starting to grow in regards to addressing this issue amongst Black America?
Say that again, please.
Are you seeing, pardon me, are you seeing Black America pay more attention and looking to create action when it comes to addressing this issue?
Oh I think we are stepping out and looking at some of these issues now. Definitely more in the past 20, 30 years than before. But as we all know, there's always areas to improve. I think the buzz is there. I think the Black Lives Matter buzz is there. But my question is, once that hashtag is become normal or a I used the hashtag long ago, what are we going to do? Who's going to continue that fire? Who's going to continue to be a voice in the community?
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's necessary.
Yep.
Um, because as young kids, I mean, I think the generation before us, they listen to their ancestors, they listen to their grandparents, they listen to people in the community. When somebody told you something that you felt was right, you listen. Our current generation does not listen to their ancestors or people in authority. So we need to go back and correct um, that deficit and enlighten our youth so that they can be great as well.
Actually, I have a question here from a very good friend of the Dr. Vibe Show and a good friend of Dr. Vibe, Dr. Marvin Thompson, who he's my turn person when I want to get educated about the American education system, especially K to 12. His question for you is, what should be the response from the community in regards to growing charter slash choice movement in the nation?
Woo!
That's why he's Dr. Thompson.
Absolutely. First of all, Dr. Thompson, thank you for your question, but I guess I should be more prepared. This is almost like going through orals.
Well, you know what?
Could you repeat
Hey, you got to know that you got to know the Dr. Vibe show. People come straight. They come hard on the Dr. Vibe show. We don't fool around.
I appreciate that. Could you repeat the question one more time so that I
Okay,
can try to address it?
what should be the response from the community in regard to the growing charter choice movement in the nation?
That's regarding education, right?
Yeah,
Charter choice schools, or
yes, yes.
okay, what should be the response?
From the
I
Black
think I
American
think
community.
oh, okay. So I would say we need to look at the foundation of charter and choice schools, right? If historically choice and charter schools were, or it was said that they were to take the children from the inner city who were poor and low income and to build them and to make them better. If we look at the past 20 years, that that statement has changed. Now our kids who are from the middle class and above are taken out of public schools and put in these charter choice schools. So I think we need to look at the system. We need to figure out what the problem. I think we know what it is. Our low income students are only left with public education, low resources, low technology in the classroom, which indirectly puts them behind in society 10 to 15 years later. I think education needs to be in the black community, in the Hispanic community, in all communities, because there are low income and poor in all, whether you believe the news hype or not. We need to make sure that education is important, number one, and accessible for all children. But
Okay.
I do understand Dr. Thompson in the black community. It needs to be emphasized now more than ever.
Excellent. Well, he commented saying there's no wrong answer, my friend. So
Hmm.
he didn't want to stress you. No worries. He didn't want to stress you there at all.
Okay.
Good stuff. Any other comments you'd like to make before we let you go? And there may be one or two more people may have a question, but do you have any closing comments you'd like to share with our audience?
First and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. Ron Clark, who's not able to be here. He is a principal in the public school system, so I hope that you can bring him on to give a more K through 12 perspective. My perspective more so comes from theory and higher ed. I feel that he would be a missing piece that needs to be brought to this discussion, maybe a part two of this article to give that public school approach because he's worked in several school systems in Cleveland and in the city of Indianapolis. I would highly recommend him for one of your next shows. Two, I would like to thank you all for just um, affording me the opportunity to be on your show. You could have picked anyone else. I don't. In fact, being honest with you, Doctor Vibe, I don't even know how you found this article. So for the fact that you even took time to even look at it,
it's something.
that blew me.
It's something called research, my man. Research, and research and passionate. And I will just say to people, for some reason, we've lost you on screen, but we can hear you. But don't worry, we're closing out, so that's no problem. So yeah, I do research. I'm very committed to helping Black men and those who love them around the world.
Awesome. And
Okay.
on that note, I think that's another issue, like within the community. So, like scholars read scholarly work, right? Scholars research scholarly work, and I read a comment yesterday, and they were saying that we need to find a way to penetrate in the community these same concepts, and I agree. Like we both do research, but like, what can we do to teach that mother who may only know to work an hourly wage job, or what she's doing is in the best interest for her, and that's all she knows. How do we get this research and concepts and terms to that mother, that family? I think that's another area that we want to work hard on too, because I think a lot of people from the community, they take it as we have our degrees, we got ours, and we're not going to come back and help the community.
Well, on that note, we are going to close the conversation because we've lost you video wise, but we can certainly hear you audio wise. So I think it's a good time to close out. If people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Awesome. You can contact me two ways. LaMarcus J Hall, LaMarcusJHall at gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook, LaMarcus J Hall. I'm also on LinkedIn, LaMarcus J Hall. I'll be more than happy to for further dialogue or collaborative writing. I enjoy research in every form. I feel there's no perfect research paper or article, so I'm willing to, work and collab with anyone possible to help strengthen our families and communities. And I just want to thank the Dr. Vibe Show and yourself for affording me this opportunity. It's definitely been a humbling experience.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Thank you so much. And we'll certainly put the contact information for Mr. Hall on the replay, on the post for the replay for this epic conversation. I'm Dr. Vibe here. I'm host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of epic conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And if you want to get in touch with me, three best ways: Twitter at drvibeshow, email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And finally, you can also contact me through the website www.thedrvibeshow.com. Also, do note I'm a certified empowerment coach, so if you would like a complimentary 30-minute empowerment session, let's make it happen, because I'm a firm believer that the more empowerment you have in your own life, the better life you will have and the better you can help others that are important in your life. If you want to listen or catch replays of my epic comics conversations, you can go to places like YouTube, which we're on right now, and thanks to everyone who are subscribing to the YouTube channel. 175 subscribers, thank you very much, and more coming, thank you. Also, you can catch replays of the Good Men Project, also at WJMS Radio, also at Apple Podcasts, also at Tuned In Radio, iHeartRadio, also Google Music Play Store, all over the place, other places. Again, too, if you just want, just Google the Dr. Vibe Show in your favorite search engine. That's THE space DR period space VIBE space SHOW. I'm Googleicious. I'd like to thank everyone who watches live and are on the replay. Thank you big time to Dr. Thompson for jumping in and adding always great added thought process to the conversation. As always, I like to say you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles and you're a solution for someone's problem. Just to note, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we're holding our monthly Dr. Vibe Allies monthly live audio roundtable. We'll have black men from Canada, the United States, and England. And the conversation piece that I'll be hosting is the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media. So definitely follow me on Twitter and you'll get information on that. God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and remember, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Take care and have an outstanding day.